The Little Baby and the Big Baby. Bobby's story. I seemed to have problems keeping dry when I was about 4. I don't remember the details, but maybe I was never really potty trained. I just remember wetting my pants on the bus and being kept in diapers more and more of the time. My daddy seemed to like me being a baby, because remember that he made me use a baby bottle. Sometimes I cried when I had to wear diapers, but I kind of liked the attention too. It was embarrassing to be a baby when the other kids weren't. But Mommy was so nice when she changed me, and it felt good to be in diapers and not have to worry or think about going potty. Big boy's pants just didn't feel the same on me. Mommy would let me play baby sometimes, and that was fun too. Joanne's story. The summer Bobby was 4 was the first that he was fully potty trained. Since I teach, I have summers free, and I decided that it would be nice if I took Bobby on day trips. We only had one car, so we had to use public transportation. Like any good mother, I asked Bobby if he had to go potty before we started off, and for a while this worked. But, on our 3rd trip, when the bus got on the freeway, Bobby told me that he had to go potty. Before we came to any place where we could get off and find a public restroom, he had wet his pants, the bus seat, and even dribbled onto the floor. The lady across the aisle gave us a disgusted look, and I was very embarrassed. I couldn't really blame Bobby. He was only 4. But I couldn't let him wet the bus seat either. When we got off, I went to a drugstore and bought a small package of large Pampers, and put one on Bobby in place of his wet pants. Of course, he cried that he wasn't a baby anymore and that he didn't want to wear a diaper. I told Bobby that I wasn't punishing him, but there wasn't anything else we could do. There was no place to buy him any clean pants, and I could not let him wander around in pissy shorts, so it had to be Pampers. Besides, he might have to pee when we were stuck on the bus again on the way home. Then we went over to the park for our picnic and a nature walk. I rinsed his pants out and hung them on a tree to dry. At first, Bobby continued to cry and sniffle, but after a while, he forgot he was diapered, and had a good time. In fact, when we got ready to go home, and I took him to the bathroom, I found that he had simply used his diaper as he used to. I think you have gotten used to being diapered again. Bobby only looked embarrassed and put his thumb in his mouth as I laid him on the changing table and put a dry pamper on him. When we went back to the tree where I hung Bobby's pants to dry, I found that they were missing. So, Bobby rode the bus home dressed as a toddler. The lady who had been on the bus opposite us when Bobby wet the seat in the morning got on and walked by us. When she saw that Bobby was diapered, she smiled and said, "Very sensible, dear. Little boys need to be kept diapered much longer than most parents realize." By the time we got off the bus, Bobby had wet his diaper again. I thought how much easier it was on us both simply to have him diapered when we were on the bus. The next day I had to go to the mall. This time I just put a pamper on Bobby and pulled his shorts up over it. Bobby did not object nearly as much, but I noticed that he was sucking his thumb again as I diapered him. He hadn't been thumb sucking that since he was potty trained. From then on Bobby wore diapers whenever we left home. Andy, his dad, had always hated making unnecessary bathroom stops, and so insisted that Bobby be diapered in the car on our vacation. As a result, Bobby started to poop himself again as well as wet. At first, when we would stop driving for the day, I would change Bobby back into his big boy pants. But sometimes he would forget he wasn't diapered. After a couple of wetting accidents and one in which he pooped his pants in the restaurant, we decided that it was safer to keep Bobby diapered all the time until we got home and could retrain him. A couple of days into our vacation, Bobby was drinking a soda in the car, and spilled it all over the seat. Andy was furious, as the car was only a few months old. As long as you're a diaper baby, you might as well be a bottle baby too. Andy stopped and bought Bobby a baby bottle with disposable liners, and made me put everything Bobby drank in the car into it. I'll have to admit that Bobby made a cute baby, and since Andy did not want to have any more babies, I wanted to enjoy babying Bobby a while longer. Bobby seemed to like it too, for he would always take his bottle when we got out of the car. When the vacation was over, I was able to re-potty train Bobby at home, but he said that he liked being diapered for trips, and kept his bottle. Sometimes on rainy afternoons, Bobby would ask if he could be my baby again, and I would diaper him until his dad got home. Then I would read to him while he nursed from his bottle. Bobby's story. When I was 8, I would wake up and hear Mommy and Daddy shouting at each other. I guess that really bothered me, cause I started to wet the bed. Mommy was real nice about it, and just put diapers on me at night. She knew that I would not mind, cause, well, see, I like playing baby and wearing diapers and sucking my bottle and wetting. Mommy lets me do that when I want to. I think the counselor said that it was be okay. When I ask, she treats me just like her little baby. She diapers me and gives me a bottle of warm chocolate milk. Then she reads to me, and checks to see if I need a dry diaper, and changes me just like the mommies in the park do for their babies. I like it when she puts a dry diaper on me. They are so soft and snuggly. Sometimes they are nice and warm from the dryer. But maybe that's why Daddy left. When he would come home he would yell at Mommy, sometimes he would yell at her for spending more time with me than with him. I wondered if maybe he wanted to be treated like a baby too. Then he left. I guess I will never know. It makes me feel bad. I miss him. I cry, then Mommy calls me her little baby and I feel better. When I was 10, she made a deal with me. I could be her baby evenings and weekends if I acted my age the rest of the time. Judy, who is in my class, knows I am a baby. She lives next door. She is nice to me. She does not tease me. Mommy told Judy I could not play baby on weekdays, so Judy makes sure I don't. I mean when I am playing with her. On Saturday Judy and I can play house and I am the baby. Judy can give me a bottle and hold me like a baby, but only Mommy is allowed to change me. Joanne's story. Andy and I were having problems. I could tell that Bobby was affected because he wanted to spend more time being my baby. He also started wetting the bed for the first time since he was 3. Of course, I put him in night diapers, and I took him to counseling. The counselor said that Bobby was reacting to the problems that Andy and I were having, and that I should make sure Bobby felt loved. For Bobby, feeling loved meant being treated like Mommy's little baby. The counselor said that Bobby would not want to be a baby forever, and that I should decide what to do about Andy and me. Andy thought counseling was a waste of time and money. It seemed that he had a hard time keeping his pants zipped around other women. When Bobby was 9, Andy ran off with a married co-worker. A lawyer handled the divorce and we never saw him again. It was a real shock to Bobby, and he regressed more. He would wet his pants during the day, and I had to take him out of school and homeschool him. Luckily, the divorce settlement was enough that I did not have to work for a while. Bobby was depressed and just wanted to be a baby. He was embarrassed since I had him diapered most of the time because of his wetting. So it was hard to make for him to make friends. I made a deal with him. I would only baby him if he did his lessons, started getting out of the house more and made some friends. The deal that Bobby and I made was that being a baby would be a part-time activity again. I would make him some cute baby clothes and he could be my baby nights and weekends, but he would have to act grown up during the day, stay dry and go back to school. Judy next door, who was in his class, came over to see him and accepted him, diapers and all. She really helped me pull him out of his depression. She plays with him, but only as a 10-year-old during the day. On the weekends and rare evenings she plays house with him and he is the baby. She likes playing his mommy. In fact, she wants to make some baby clothes for him, so I am teaching her to sew. Judy's story. Bobby is really nice. He defended me at school when the other kids were picking on me for wearing glasses and having braces. I knew he liked me. Then he started wetting his pants right in school. I think he did it 3 different times. All the kids picked on him. Bobby wets his pants. Look at the pissy baby. Where are your diapers, baby? You make poopy in your diapers, baby. When I tried to defend him, they asked if I was his mommy. I wanted to be, 'cause I wanted to take care of him. I felt sorry he was acting like a baby. My mommy told me that his dad had left and I knew how bad that felt, 'cause my daddy left too. But I did not tell the kids I wanted to be his mommy. They never listened to me anyway. Then Joanne, that's Bobby's mom, took Bobby out of school. She was a teacher and she quit too. I was worried about him. I went to his house after school. I looked in window on the porch. He was in the living room, laying on the floor in diapers and drinking a baby bottle. I never saw a boy look so cute. His mom looked like she was reading to him. I was kind of afraid he would not want to see me. I knocked on the door and in a little bit Joanne answered and I asked if I could play with Bobby. He was not in the living room anymore. I guess he was scared and hid. I told her that I was sorry that Bobby was not in school anymore, but I knew how he was feeling, with the kids teasing him and all. Joanne asked if I teased him about being a baby. I said no, I knew he was sad 'cause his dad left. Besides, he is a very cute baby. Joanne asked me what I meant, and I said that I had seen him being a baby on the floor. Then she invited me in and made Bobby come out and say hi. He was real red. I thought he was real cute. I asked if he wanted to play. He did not answer, but Joanne said that Bobby only liked playing baby right now. I said that is cool, can I give him his bottle? So she got it and gave it to me and I feed him. I think he liked it, 'cause he smiled at me when I took it out of his mouth. Anyway, he asked me not to tell the kids that he likes being a baby, and I promised not to. I came over every day after school. I played mommy and Bobby was the baby. Then Joanne said that there had to be some new rules, that Bobby had agreed not to play baby anymore on weekdays. She wanted me to help her. That made me feel like a real mommy, helping my baby grow up. Now mostly we only play baby on the weekends. But sometimes I come over at night before bedtime if I finish my homework early. Joanne has Bobby in his diaper and baby clothes then. Sometimes it is a sleeper, and sometimes it is a nightie. Then Bobby puts his head in my lap and I get to feed him a bottle of warm milk. I like Bobby in baby clothes. I want to make him some. Joanne is teaching me to sew. I want to dress in him in a baby dress with lots of lace. Bobby said he would like that, but I have not told Joanne yet. Chapter 2. The Big Baby. Ralph's story. I met Joanne in the grocery store. After dating for about 6 months we got married. I thought it was weird how she treated Bobby like a baby sometimes. But, as long as we were not married, I thought it was none of my business. Once we got married, I thought it was not right, but I thought the best way to deal with it was to make Bobby stop wanting to be a baby. So I started teasing him about his bedwetting and liking to stay in diapers all weekend. I teased him about the silly baby outfits his mother dressed him in for bed, and especially about his drinking from a baby bottle. Then there was his girlfriend, Judy. Joanne taught her to sew, and what did she make Bobby, but a baby girl's outfit? It must have taken her weeks. It was all baby blue satin and lacy, a bonnet, dress, and lacy baby panties. Judy was so proud of it. Bobby loved it. Joanne thought it was adorable. I flipped out. I yelled at Bobby, Joanne, and Judy. I said I could not understand why Bobby liked being a baby, and called Joanne a terrible mother and Judy names that no little girl should ever be called. Big mistake. In a few minutes Bobby and Judy were in tears and Joanne was furious. Joanne would not talk to me for the rest of the day. The next morning, Saturday, she gave me a choice. I could either learn why Bobby liked being a baby, or I could get out. I said, how can anybody know why Bobby likes being a baby? It is simple. I can show you, or you can leave my house right now. Well, I love Joanne, so I did not want to leave. And, I was a bit curious. Okay, show me. Go take a shower and come back. When I came back, Joanne had a diaper laid out on our bed. No way am I wearing a diaper. Then you can leave. I won't leave and I won't wear a diaper. Then I'll call the police and tell them that you have been abusive and won't leave my house. She reached for the phone. Okay, I'll put it on. No, babies don't change their own diapers, mommy will diaper the baby. Lay down. I did, and she put a bottle in my mouth. Drink that while mommy diapers you, baby. I was about to spit it out when I saw a look that told me that would be a bad idea. I started sucking and it tasted like chocolate, mostly. Joanne said it was formula. Joanne slid the diaper under me and proceeded to powder my rear. That felt kind of cool, but what happened next took me by surprise. I was being rubbed with baby oil, and it felt wonderful. And there was no way I could hide it. I was instantly hard as a rock. Without realizing it, I started sucking my bottle harder, too. I see the Widdle Ralphie likes being put in diddies by his mommy. I could feel myself turning beet red. I didn't want to, but I knew I did like it. Soon she pinned my diaper, and pulled a pair of shorts up over it. Then she put white tennies and a t-shirt on me. We need to get you some plastic panties, baby. Joanne led me by the hand out to the car and drove to the medical supply store. Strangely, although I had just peed when I got up, I felt like I needed to do it again. I told Joanne that I needed to find a bathroom. No need to worry about that, Ralphie. You just went potty an hour ago. I'm sure you can wait. But, if you want to show that you're mommy's baby, you do have a diaper on. As we looked at the various kinds of incontinent pants, I could not hold it anymore. I thought that it would ease the pressure a bit if I just wet the diaper just a little. So I wet myself, just a little. I looked, nothing showed. Just a little more and I would feel so much better. Since the first wetting did not show, I relaxed a little more. To my horror, a large spot started showing on the front of my shorts. I tried stopping, but I couldn't stop that quick. Pee was running down my legs into my socks and dripping on the floor from my crotch. Joanne said in a voice loud enough for others to hear, "See, I said that you needed plastic panties and just a diddy wasn't enough." Then she grabbed 3 packages of baby panties with one hand, and my hand with the other, and led me to the checkout to pay for what I obviously needed. The clerk looked at my wet pants in disgust. "I hope these are enough for him, dear," she said to Joanne as though I was not even there. "I think we will get more later, thanks. Couldn't you even wait till we got outside to wet your diddy? I was expecting that you would still be dry when we got home. I mean really, you can usually go for an hour without peeing. You really do like diapers, don't you?" "No, I don't know why I wet, I couldn't help it." "Well, I know. It is because you were jealous of Bobby all along and couldn't wait till I diapered you. That is probably why you married me." "No, really, I don't want diapers." "Well, that is not what your little pee-pee said this morning. First there was its flagpole act when I diapered you, then it just could not wait to embarrass me by wetting in the store. I mean a grown man wetting his diaper, and not just a little, but enough for everyone to see what a baby you are." By then we back to the car, and Joanne had me lay on the seat while she pulled off my wet shorts and pulled a pairs of baby panties up over my wet diaper. When we got home, I had to walk to the house in my t-shirt, diaper, and baby pants. Judy was feeding Bobby his bottle, and Joanne asked her to fix me one as she needed to change me. She said I liked to have one when I was changed. Of course, I didn't, or maybe I did, I thought, but I just kept quiet while Mommy led me upstairs to be changed. Joanne's story. I met Ralph at the grocery store. I had seen him while I was buying some things for Bobby, first in the baby aisle, and then looking out of the side of his eye at the adult diapers. It was after I had picked up some small adult disposables that he came up and asked me if I knew where the pickles were. As we dated, he seemed to be kind of infantile in the way he approached me, nuzzling my breasts, and suckling like a baby as we made love. In fact, he seemed more interested in getting his lips on my nipples than anything else. When he came to my house and saw how I dressed Bobby for bed, I could see that he was aroused, even jealous. After we married, I hinted that I could treat him as a baby if he would like, but he seemed oblivious to his own desires. I think he was jealous of Bobby but so conflicted that he felt that he had to tease Booby mercilessly. When he yelled at Judy, Bobby and me because of Judy's beautiful creation for Bobby, I flipped out. I could hardly control my anger till I realized that, like Bobby, he was just a baby, and that he ought to be excused because babies can't help themselves. Since he couldn't ask for what he really wanted, it was up to me, his wife or mommy, to do what was best for the poor dear. I had diapers from Bobby, and I was sure that Ralphie would let me put them on him, but I needed to show him what a baby he really is, so some help was in order. I made some formula for him to nurse while I diapered him, and I do know how he likes to nurse. The formula had a diuretic in it that would have him wetting in an hour, so all I needed to do was take him out till he wet his whittle diddy. I knew he would try the diapers, it was what he really wanted. Of course, without plastic panties, he would wet through and show what a baby he is. As it turned out, he did not even ask where the toilet was. He wanted to wet his diaper, and he did. When I got him home, I had Judy warm another bottle of formula, this one with a laxative. Meanwhile, I took my new baby upstairs and rewarded his first wetting by making him come in his wet diddy with baby oil. Judy and Bobby are now married. Judy is the mommy and Bobby is her baby. Ralphie likes to be called Patsy and prefers baby dresses very much like the one Judy made for Bobby when we are alone. Judy and I hold babyification workshops for feminists and sell baby and little girl clothes to the participants for their big babies. The idea occurred to us when I finally met Andy's new wife, Sally, and she complained about his behavior. Sally brings Andy in for our workshops as an example of what can be achieved using our methods. He gives testimonials about how much happier he is as a baby girl, and wets his diaper for the class. He gets the feminine attention he always craved as the women take turns diapering him.